Hi everyone, welcome back to class. This is Ajay Shah. So today in this class we are going to cover a very important topic which is important as far as strategy for UPSC is concerned, and the topic is how we can use internet efficiently to crack this UPSC examination. And this class is going to be useful for both types of candidates. The candidates who are totally fresher to the world of UPSC, they are just starting, they are forming their strategies, and also the students who are little mature in this examination, they can also gain something from this video. Now, since you people are aspiring for IAS examination, UPSC examination, and so first it is very important to decode the mindset of rankers. So let us first start with our first subtopic, that what exactly a ranker thinks about this examination and what exactly is the strategies of the ranker in which they qualify UPSC at very young age. So if you see the result of this year, that is UPSC 2019, then you will find that many of the rankers have qualified UPSC in the first attempt at very young age. And still we also have many rankers who have qualified UPSC in 6th attempt and also in 9th attempt. If we scan our results itself, then this year 3 of our students, that is rank 22 Mandar Patki, then rank 87 Muskan Jindal, then rank 97 Shikhar Chaudhary. These 3 people have qualified UPSC in the first attempt and at a very young age, at the age of 22. But we also have rankers like, we have one of the rankers, Rahul Reddy, rank 117. Then we have Gopal Krishna Meena. These 2 rankers have qualified UPSC in 6th attempt. And we also have a ranker, Pranav Govind Bhai. He has qualified UPSC in his 9th attempt. So the question is, why so much difference is there? Now, this is a futile statement if anyone says that someone who has cracked UPSC in the first attempt is more intelligent or more capable than someone who has cracked UPSC in 6th attempt. This is simply a futile statement and it has no substance. Both people are equally capable, both have equal level of intelligence, they both have worked really very hard, but there are multiple factors which plays a role in this examination. Now, when I was interacting with the toppers this year of latest result of UPSC, and in fact based on my experience where I have interacted with a lot of toppers and rankers, I have seen one very unique thing, and that is common to all of the toppers. The common thing is that they utilize their time very, very efficiently. Now, what is the meaning of utilizing time very, very efficiently? For example, if you see the entire syllabus of UPSC, then you will see that there are 3 major pillars in this examination. The first pillar we can say is GS prelims, second pillar is GS mains, and the third pillar is optional subject. And roughly everyone completes the entire syllabus in 1 year, or some might take 1.5 years. There is no thumb rule. But the thing is that whenever someone aspires for an attempt, he or anyone in the world, any aspirant, they all have equal time. They all have equal time, same level of we can say stage, same level of condition, same level of environment. But the only thing is that the rankers or the toppers who get very good rank in the examination, who crack examination in very young age, they are those people who go for something called cost benefit analysis. What is cost benefit analysis? The cost that you are paying to something and the benefit that you are getting out of that, that is cost benefit analysis. Now, it's a very common sense thing, it's a very commonsensical concept that whenever we get benefit out of anything in the world, then what cost we are paying, that will define the gravity of that benefit. For example, say there are multiple subjects in prelims examination, but take one subject, that is polity. And if you are investing 6 months only in the polity, you have covered everything in a very deep level. You have a very high level of command over the constitution. You have become a living legend of all the case laws of Supreme Court of India. Then that is very natural that you are going to do excellent result as far as polity is concerned. But is it beneficial, the benefit that you are getting out of investing 6 months? That is, after investing 6 months in a subject, what you are getting? A complete command over a subject. So the question is it beneficial? Is it a fair game? Is the investment fruitful? So here the answer is investment is not fruitful. And that is why in UPSC there are so many subjects, so many resources, that the cost benefit analysis is very, very important. What we are going to put in the input and what we are going to get in the output, this calculation is very, very important, and this is we can say a core part of the strategy of anyone who fails this in this examination and anyone who cracks this examination. And in fact, I would say this is cost benefit analysis is textbook example of what everyone say smart study. Now, in UPSC, what will be the meaning of cost? What cost you people are paying? So you are not paying the cost in form of money or dollar, but you are paying cost in form of time. Time is the cost for you, and what is the benefit? Benefit is relevant knowledge. So the investment of time will decide how much relevant knowledge you are getting. Now let us take example of a person, Mr. A, who has given 1 year to UPSC, and let us take the example of Mr. B, who has given 4 years to UPSC. Now you might be thinking that the person who has given 4 years of UPSC must have completed 4 times books in comparison to Mr. A, but again this is not correct. What happens that in the first year, the type of investment that you make in all the subjects, that is going to decide you the subsequent year of investment in terms of time and also what you are going to get. I will just simplify what I have just said. For example, if in the first year you go with a completely mess up study plan, you devote 5 months to polity, only 1 week to geography, or 3 months to science and tech, if you will go with this kind of planning, then in subsequent attempts also, this mistake, you are going to carry this mistake, and people in subsequent attempt, they are only concerned and their entire energy drains out only in rectifying the mistakes of their first year. And so I am just making the crux of whatever I have said till now. The crux is your first year is extremely crucial in terms of deciding what should be your cost benefit analysis. All right. Now I will just give you some examples how people kill their time so that you can understand how important is this cost benefit analysis. Now I have seen that there are many people who come to the first time in the world of UPSC, they start preparing notes from the newspaper. So if someone comes and tell to me that, sir, I am making notes from the newspaper Hindu on daily basis, so is it beneficial as far as retention of knowledge is concerned or production of knowledge is concerned? I will say yes, of course, that's very obvious. When you yourself will prepare notes from the newspaper, then that is very natural that the notes which you collected from the newspaper, that will play a very significant role as far as retention capacity is concerned. But here this is not logical in terms of cost benefit analysis, because if you read newspaper and if you make notes from the newspaper, then that will consume you at least 3 to 4 hours daily. So even if you are getting so much good return here, but the return is not good when you will take the cost, the time factor in your picture. So only return is not important, that how much return you are getting, but you also should note how much time you are investing there. So people kill time like making unnecessary notes, reading unnecessary books, changing their sources very frequently. Today they will read this book, tomorrow or after a week they will change their book. Then they will keep revisiting the concept. That means not revising but changing the concepts. This is also one of the factors where they kill their time. And again they will frequently change their strategy. And the last is internet. Internet has become the giant killer, and I would say internet has become a killing machine for UPSC aspirant. Now if you scan the history of India a few years back, at least before 2000 or before 2002 I can say, then there was lack of information in our country. If someone would have to prepare for UPSC, then very rarely he would get a fellow aspirants or some mentor, and there used to be confusion even with respect to what is the eligibility for UPSC, what are the subjects in UPSC. But now we have plethora of information, and the information is so much that the trend is not only of misinformation, but trend is also of disinformation. Once you type in on the Google how to prepare for UPSC, once you type on Google what is monsoon, what is money laundering, you will get so much information that it will become exceptionally difficult for you to manage that time. And once you start investing the time in wrong direction, everything your planning is not going to work, and at the end of year you will feel that you have wasted your precious and valuable year, your valuable attempt that is never going to come back to you. All right, so now putting time on the internet, giving time on the internet, and what we are getting, that we are going to now decide, and we are going to decode this thing. All right, so I am going to analyze this in a very deep sense, and I have picked up almost all the dimensions which I feel where internet and UPSC preparation has meeting point. So the first, that is where you use internet. All right, so what is going to be my sequence? I will pick up one thing where basically aspirants use the internet, and I will suggest you what is the best part here and what are some basic do's and don'ts. All right, so the first is aspirants use internet for their online classes. For example, if you people have joined our classes, then on daily basis we give you some kind of videos, occasional test, then doubt clearing sessions. All right, occasional test in the terms of for prelims also, for mains also. Now in this video series, that is the time which you invest in this kind of video lesson, there is no other option to leave, and this is not your discretion. You have to invest your time. Say for example, on daily basis if we are releasing a video of 2 hours, then you must invest 2 hours in the video. You cannot skip this step. But here we can go for some smart things by which we can save our time. Now I will tell you how. Say for example, what I have seen that when students come to offline classes, they do not have the liberty to repeat the classes. Once they will come in the class, if they miss the class, there is only one option: they will have to take notes from some of their friends, but there is no option to revisit the class, with few exceptions. But in this online era, the people, the aspirants, they have the liberty to watch the video as per their will, as per their convenience. Now here comes the killing of time, and here you people waste so much of your time. How? I have seen that aspirants, that say a video class is there of 2 hours, then what he will do? He will watch first 15 minutes, then he will take a break, then 15 minutes, then a break. In this way, 2 hours video will be watched by him in 3 to 4 hours. This is killing of time. You should not sit on the internet of 2 hours video for 4 to 5 hours. Save your time. Number 2, so aspirants also have one strategy, that when the video classes is there, they will take note of whatever the teacher is teaching. That's very good. But again here what I have seen, that aspirants, what they do, once they are taking note of it, and if they are not getting something from the video class, or if they are not having their notes book or pen, the writing pad with them, then what they say to themselves, that all right, I will watch this video again, and then I will take notes from the video. Again here also you are wasting your 4 hours instead of investing your 2 hours. So you should save your time. Just convince your mind that when the class videos comes to me, the regular class videos I am talking about, then I have to cover that class videos at one go. I do not have the second chance to see the video. Rather, think yourself, rather than investing 4 hours on one video, why don't you invest 4 hours on watching 2 videos? So this is the first point of suggestion to you, that whenever you watch the class videos, regular class videos, make a very high level of discipline and sincerity. Otherwise you will waste your time, and that will be not fruitful from cost benefit analysis. I hope that this point is clear to you. Now point number 2 is a strategy formation. Now I told in the starting that in the world of UPSC examination, a strategy is very important. And so whenever someone starts preparing for UPSC, it is suggested that make a proper strategy. Strategy in the sense, what are some books we have to read, what are the NCERT books I have to read, how to select the optional paper, how to select the coaching institute, and n number of things are there. So what here the point of suggestion is that you just now I will come to how people waste their time here. First listen to that. So I've seen that how you use internet for making a strategy. You keep watching videos of rankers and toppers. That's the first thing. You keep watching webinars, keep attending webinars. Number 3, you keep watching lectures of faculty members, then topic specific lectures. Now I will come to every point one by one. First come to rankers. So it's very important to listen to the rankers, because rankers give a kind of insight in the paper, and we just have to decode their mindset to gain inspiration also, to make our strategy also. There is not an iota of doubt that we must listen to all the videos of rankers. But here the question is, how many videos you people are going to watch? I told you about cost benefit analysis. If you will listen to 50 toppers, naturally you will gain more insight into their mindset. But again, the benefit that you are getting, what you are getting insight of the paper. That benefit after watching 50-60 videos of toppers is again not at all useful. Now what you have to do here, see, always watch the videos of rankers who are of recent ranks. The rankers who have qualified UPSC in the past 2 to 3 years, watch videos of those rankers only. If you are watching the rankers of 10 years back, 15 years back, then only get inspiration. Do not take a strategy from the rankers. Number 1. Number 2, if you have listened to a ranker on a specific topic, that how to cover ethics or how to cover geography, how to go for answer writing, there is no requirement to repeat your video lessons. Do not keep watching the same thing from all the rankers. You are also interested in rank 1, how he has selected optional. Interested in rank 2, how he has selected optional. Rank 3, how he has selected optional. Enough. This will kill your time, and you will keep watching videos of rankers and toppers throughout the year. That will not give you much result. Please save your time. Your time is very, very precious if you really want to crack UPSC at very young age. Then come to webinars. Again, in the webinars also same formula is there. Say for example, webinar is there for a topic, how you should approach prelims examination. Have you seen the webinar? Now it's enough. Do not watch again the same webinar. How to approach prelims examination, how to approach prelims examination, how to approach prelims examination. This is going to kill your time. Maximum 1 to 2 webinars on the same topic, that is sufficient. But if there is new topic in the webinar, like how to go for integrated preparation, how to develop your answer writing, then also you can attend. So crux is that do not go for repetition while accessing the video lesson of topper webinars or faculty members. Now come to topic specific lectures. Topic specific lecture means topics, how to choose optional, how to improve answer writing, how to tackle science and tech, old NCERTs versus new NCERTs. So if again in topic specific lectures, if you are accessing the internet, then please stay calm and just access to limited number of videos, sufficient number of videos. Do not go for unnecessary or n number of video lessons. So I think that this point is clear up to this. Now come to the third point, topic specific videos for depth. Now here I want to have some elaboration for you. What is the meaning of topic specific videos? So I am searching on internet, monsoon, repo rate, fundamental rights, Keshav Nanda Bharti cases. This is what is known as topic specific video lesson that you want to see Why you want to see? You want to enhance your knowledge. Now here I will come to three parts. Part number one is that do not go for unnecessary accumulation of knowledge, because in UPSC you do not have to go do PhD. There has to be a datum line, there has to be a boundary. Beyond boundary I will not go. Now you must be asking a question that how come I can decide my boundary? I will come to that. Now see, from where it comes, why people are concerned about asking the topic related videos. So say for example, you have started reading a book called M. Lakshmikant. Why I am giving the example of M. Lakshmikant? Because I am polity teacher, so naturally I will give the example of M. Lakshmikant. So say you have started reading M. Lakshmikant, and what happens that you read the first chapter, then you come to preamble. In preamble you find that there is a case law, that is Keshav Nanda Bharti case, and in this case Supreme Court has said that amendment can be there in preamble, but it cannot be at the cost of basic structure. Alright. So here you have heard the word basic structure, and you have heard a word Keshav Nanda Bharti case. Again, when you come to the next chapter, say fundamental rights, you find the same thing. Keshav Nanda Bharti case, basic structure. Now your mind will ask you, bring internet, open your mobile and search what is Keshav Nanda Bharti case, what is basic structure. You click on the internet, on YouTube, what is Keshav Nanda Bharti case, a video comes to you, you watch that video, Keshav Nanda Bharti case. Again in the suggestion it will be there, watch Menka Gandhi case. You again watch Menka Gandhi case, then again this case, that case, and you will kill your 1 to 2 hours, and that preamble book will be there itself. No. You have to stop your temptation of gaining the knowledge instantly. There is a process in this examination. The process says that everything will come to you in sequence. Why are you so excited, or why you are in so panic to gain all the knowledge on the first day? It is not possible. Even if you want, then it is not possible. And in the temptation of gaining all the knowledge on the first day, you will create a mess of entire paper, and that will not work for you. See dear friends, if you have picked a book that is called M. Lakshmikant, and if Keshav Nanda Bharti case is there or basic structure is there, then you should know one thing, that everyone says that this book is sufficient. Then you must wait, that there might be a possibility that Keshav Nanda Bharti case or basic structure will come in this book. And if that is not coming in this book, then chances are also there, then that is not very important for me. At least first I will cover the entire book. If then it is required, then I will take the help of internet. So here in this specific example, Keshav Nanda Bharti case, after few chapters you will find a chapter that is called Basic Structure of Constitution. There you will study what happened in Keshav Nanda Bharti case. But say after completing entire M. Lakshmikant, now you have got the answer of Keshav Nanda Bharti case, you have got the answer of basic structure, but out of your curiosity you are concerned who was Keshav Nanda Bharti. Then here you can take the help of internet, even though that is not required, but to satisfy your curiosity you can take the help of internet. So are you getting what I have told about your video specific depth? I will make the crux of this point. Pick standard resources and rely completely on that standard resources. Take the help of internet for video specific topics only after completing that entire comprehensive topic. First complete all the NCERTs of economics, M. Ramesh Sin, economic survey, then at last decide that okay, now I will I want more clarity with respect to repo rate. I am not getting the repo rate, so I will get more clarity now on internet. So I hope this point is clear to you. Now come to the next point, current affairs. So out of all the whenever you kill your time on internet, current affairs takes the biggest share. and people often waste their time on current affairs. Why people waste their time on current affairs? Because again, there are two factors. Factor number one is very simple, because they believe that current affairs is very important and I should be totally aware about what's happening around me. And factor number two is that since you people are in the process of this UPSC preparation, that is very natural that you lack lot of knowledge. And since you lack knowledge, so you have a temptation to gain everything from the current affairs. Now, from this topic of current affairs, I will explain this topic with an example. So listen properly this example. Few days back, there was a news. The news said that Madras High Court has commented that officers of Election Commission of India should be tried, prosecuted for murder of people, because the institution of Election Commission of India is the single biggest cause for a spread of COVID-19, because they conducted election rallies and all amid this pandemic crisis. After this, Election Commission of India approached to Supreme Court of India, and Election Commission of India demanded from Supreme Court of India that you please put a restraint on High Court, that such observation, such comment is unnecessary in a constitutional democracy, because we are also a constitutional authority. High Court is also a constitutional authority. If in such a democratic polity, if Election Commission of if a High Court will put such comments on another constitutional authority, then this will lower the prestige of an institution like Election Commission of India. Now, Supreme Court of India here said that Madras High Court should have maintained some kind of restraint while commenting such we can say such excessive observation. But at the same time, we cannot ask Madras High Court not to give such observation in front of media, or ask the media to put restrictions on this oral observation, because media is a source of knowledge for people, and people and media, they all enjoy fundamental right, that is free flow of information. Now here in this entire case, this is current affairs, but to understand this news, you need to know what is the power equation between Supreme Court and High Court. Can Supreme Court direct the High Court? What is the power equation between High Court and Election Commission of India? Can High Court of a state can pass such oral observation against an institution like Election Commission of India? Was Election Commission of India solely responsible for the spread? What is the role of Election Commission of India? What is Article 19, which Supreme Court of India says that it gives fundamental rights to the people and the press? These entire stuffs you will study in your syllabus. When you will cover the syllabus, you will study everything. So please stop yourself from the temptation of getting too deep into the current affairs. If you are not getting the things, please wait. Everything will be cleared. Everything is going to come to you when the syllabus moves. So in the recent case of West Bengal, there is a tussle between Chief Minister and Governor. What is the role of Governor? What is the power of Governor? How President rule can be imposed? What are some important case laws? What is the observation of Sarkaria Commission on this inter-state relation? These all stuffs are going to come to you. Please have patience. In the name of current affairs, do not keep watching n number of videos just to get insight of current affairs. So you will become a bond of current affairs, that to a hollow bond, and you will lose your valuable time, which is very important if you really want to crack UPSC at young age in first attempt. Alright. Next come to fifth, internet as a sole resource. So what does it mean? It means that when aspirants prepare a list, that what are their resources subject wise, so polity this book, economics this book, science and tech this book, Say for example you write there that for disaster management I have to watch 5 videos from a particular website, from a particular YouTube channel. So here internet was your sole source. So here you can invest your time on internet, there is not an issue at all. So this example differs from the example which I gave you in M. Lakshmikant. In M. Lakshmikant you are already having a good source, an authentic source. Despite of that you are wasting your time on the internet. But here you are only dependent on internet for a particular chapter. So here you can invest your time, there is no issue. Then come to newspapers. People also read newspaper by the use of internet. Now here again how people read newspapers. So first is they entirely take e-newspaper of the Hindu. Say for example if you are reading the Hindu, then there is a subscription of e-paper in the Hindu. Now here if you want to, if you do not have any kind of financial obligation, number one, number two, if you are accessible to the physical version of the Hindu, then please go with the physical version only. Why is it so? Because of two things. Number one, you have limited number of time to spend on computer, because this is a biological factor. You cannot sit in front of computer for 12 hours, 16 hours. So save your time whenever you can. So you can go with for the physical newspaper of Hindu. And second factor is that when we go with physical paper, then our stamina, our capability, or our we can say interest in the paper increases. For example, if you read the Hindu from on your tab or on your computer, then you will feel lot of stress in reading the editorial. But when you are having the physical version of that paper, then you can read the editorial very in comfortable manner by sitting on sofa, by sitting on chair, even by if you are going on in a car or bus, you can go with the Hindu. But again, if you are not having that option, then that's not an issue at all. Second thing about the newspaper is that many aspirants face problem in understanding the Hindu in the starting, and there they take the help of video lessons from internet. So see dear friends, it is a practical problem. You people are totally fresher and you cannot understand the Hindu entirely. For example, few days back there was a news in the Hindu that Pakistan is taking some initiatives so that Pakistan can remove its name from grey list of Financial Action Task Force for allegation of money laundering. So here what is money laundering? What is Financial Action Task Force? What is the meaning of grey list? You will cover this entire thing when you will cover the syllabus of internal security. Now tell me, don't you think that after covering internal security, you can understand this news? So there is no requirement to go with a separate video session. The video session which you are watching for this particular news, that video session is nothing but that video session is elaboration of your syllabus itself, and you have to read that syllabus after some time if today you haven't covered money laundering. Having said this, please, you can spend your time to watch video analysis of newspaper, but do not invest so much of time. Just keep a limited time, number one. Number two, when you become comfortable with reading the newspaper yourself, then there is no requirement to go through video analysis on daily basis. Again, I will repeat once again here, if you misinterpreted me, if you will read newspaper and you will watch video analysis, naturally you will understand it more. There is no doubt in that. But again, the question is, what you are investing, you are not getting benefit in that proportionate, and that is why, as far as newspaper is concerned, just focus on the newspaper and take one weekly magazine or monthly magazine, whatever you like, of any standard coaching institutes, and just cover from there only. That's it. All right. Next is institutes on internet. Institutes in the sense coaching institutes. So again, people spend so much of time on visiting websites or the social media handles of multiple coaching institutes. I have seen aspirant on daily basis, they visit 10 to 12 websites of popular coaching institutes of the country. Again, you will not get anything out of this. Just decide that which coaching institute is good coaching institute, and visit their website, their YouTube channel, Telegram channel, Instagram, Facebook, subscribe everywhere. Hardly 2 to 3, not more than that, because things will go in repetitive manner. For example, Israeli-Palestine issue, which is a very burning issue now. Every coaching institute will publish video, PDF, MCQs, analysis on Israeli-Palestine issue. But why do you want to read Israeli-Palestine issue from everywhere? Just focus on one coaching institute material. That's it. Otherwise, what happens that, say for example, you have defined that I will read only newspaper, only current affairs magazine of every month, and some yearly magazines like Economic Survey, India Yearbook, etc. One fine day you are visiting a website and they will start showing you that they have done analysis, and that analysis is in depth of all the government schemes. There are multiple questions, MCQs, mains based question, blah 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 blah. But till now you were when you were covering a daily newspaper or the monthly magazine, weekly magazine, here also you were covering by default government schemes also. So there is no requirement again to go with the government schemes. And if you are going with a particular magazine for government schemes, then go from that magazine itself. That means limit your resources as far as website of coaching institutes are concerned. After that, the 10th point is TV debates. So should we watch TV debates? Now, of course, we should watch TV debates. Now, how many debates can you watch per day? So debates are there in Doordarshan TV, Raj Sabha TV, some of the YouTube channels, some of the English news channels, Times Now, etc. Some of the foreign channels, BBC and all. How many TV debates you are going to watch? So again, you have to limit it yourself. So again, how come you can save yourself? Just search a website. For example, we at GS Score, we publish gist of Raj Sabha TV debates, important Raj Sabha TV debates. If you are following us on our Telegram channel, then just stay focused on only that Raj Sabha TV gist. That's sufficient, that's enough. There is no requirement to watch n number of debates. Alright? And also be sure that which debate you are going to watch. Watch only those debates which has some relevancy with your respect to your syllabus. Alright? And also, one topic, one debate is sufficient. If you have analyzed one debate with respect to Israel-Palestine, there is no requirement to read another debate. If you have analyzed one debate with respect to health crisis in India, there is no requirement to watch another debate. Save your time. Next, I will take factor number 10 first. So factor number 10, that is political news. So again, political news from internet, that is not recommended. In the sense, now political news means the news which are purely political in nature, petty wise. Congress is saying that BJP is not taking care of the country in pandemic. BJP is saying that Congress is responsible for this messy affair. These type of debates, political news of tutu meme, clash, tussle, petty politics, that is not at all recommended. Do not waste your time on internet, because when you will go to the internet, you will find that BJP has come with some new allegation against Congress. Congress has come with new facts against BJP. Some political parties have said so. These kind of petty news will not help you in UPSC. Please remember that your purpose to access internet is to crack UPSC and not to join a political party. So please have clarity with respect to your goal. The last is social media. So again, there is no harm in remaining with social media. If you are having your accounts with Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, there is no harm. But the only thing is, please regulate yourself. Put a specific time that I will access my social media handles every day at this time or every other day at this time, that is sufficient. Regulate yourself. And one more thing regarding social media, do not be under the hangover of intellectual arrogance. So this is the problem with UPSC aspirant. When they start studying M. Lakshmikant, they believe that they have become an epitome of polity or constitution or a bond of constitution. That is not true. Follow Socrates, who said, I know that I know nothing. Your knowledge should be used only and only for UPSC. Once qualify UPSC, then use your knowledge in whatever sense you want. Because here you will post something, someone will comment on that, then you will say you do not know, I have read this book, I have read from this newspaper. Again you will keep yourself engaged in a very petty debate, which will at the end of day will give you nothing. You will just waste your time. So, and in social media, if you are joining some Telegram groups, some Telegram channel, some WhatsApp group, then please join those groups only which are relevant. Do not join n number of groups to access n number of materials. So this is all about the class. The crux is that the toppers, the rankers, they have absolute clarity with respect to this exam. They know where to invest time to get the maximum benefit. So input should be in proportionate to output. That will be the key to of success in this examination. So all the best. We'll see you in the next class. Thank you.